Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
DJ Angelo.
You're rocking with the best, the best, the best.
I'm the hottest round with the crazy style.
Hey guys, it's DJ Angelo and welcome to Turntable Tutorial 14. Now that we've covered the basic foundations of beat juggling, which is of course the technique of looping two records back and forth, today I'm going to show you how important looping is when it comes to breaking down an original beat pattern and composing a new one, which is essentially what beat juggling is all about. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you our very first beat juggling patterns. The first thing I'm going to show you is a simple beat juggling pattern that I've composed using two different loops in this track. The first of the loops that I'm going to use is a 4-beat loop starting at beat 1, which is positioned at 12 o'clock. Okay, so that's loop number 1. The second loop that I'm going to use is a 2-beat loop, which is actually contained within that first loop, and this loop starts on beat 3, which is positioned here at roughly the 9 o'clock position. So this is loop number 2. Okay, so here's a quick demonstration of one possible way of combining these two loops into one pattern. Hopefully you noticed that by using the two different loops together, I was able to create an 8-beat pattern out of only 4 beats. You could say that I extended the original 4-beat loop so that it lasted 8 beats. This is an example of how looping can cross over and become beat juggling, because I actually changed the course of the records with my hands in order to create a brand new beat pattern. As simple as it may be, this is the first actual beat juggling pattern I've shown you, and it's a great way to develop dexterity and coordination between your two hands. If you didn't quite catch it the first time, here's a quick breakdown of the pattern in 6 steps. First of all, make sure that record 1 is queued up to beat 1, and make sure that record 2 is queued up to beat 3. You also might want to pitch your turntables down to the slowest setting when you're practicing a brand new beat juggling pattern. You can always speed them up later once you've mastered all of the movements. Step 1. Play record 1 for 4 beats. Step 2. Play record 2 for 2 beats whilst backspinning record 1 to beat 3. Step 3. Play record 1 for 2 beats whilst backspinning record 2 back to beat 1. Step 4. Play record 2 for 4 beats whilst backspinning record 1 to beat 3. Step 5. Play record 1 for 2 beats whilst backspinning record 2 to beat 3. And finally, step 6. Play record 2 for 2 beats and backspin record 1 back to beat 1. If you've done it correctly, you should find yourself back at the beginning of the pattern with record 1 queued up to beat 1. Okay, so in our beat juggling pattern, we only made use of the first 4 beats of the track, but beat juggling can actually be done at any part of the record that has beats. For example, the same beat juggling pattern can be applied to the next 4 beats of the track, which is beats 5, 6, 7 and 8. In this case, I'm going to cue record 1 to beat 5. Which is here at roughly the 5 o'clock position. And for record 2, I'm going to cue it up to 2 beats after, so beat 7, which is here at roughly the 2 o'clock position. So I now have to memorise these new marker positions, but although the marker positions may have changed, the beat juggling pattern stays the same. Okay, so that was a variation of our first beat juggling pattern done in a different place on the record. It's now time for our next challenge. Now that we have one beat juggle pattern using beats 1 to 4 and a variation of that pattern using beats 5 to 8, it's possible to combine these two together to create one bigger beat juggle pattern. Here's one possible way that it can be done. So that's the pattern. Here's how to do it step by step. Again, I've queued up record 1 to beat 1 and record 2 to beat 3, and I've also pitched my turntables down again so that you can see all of the movements more clearly. Step 1 is the same as earlier. We're going to play record 1 for 4 beats. Step 2 is also the same as before. We're going to play record 2 for 2 beats whilst backspinning record 1 to beat 3. Step 3 is a little bit more complicated. We're going to play record 1 and let it continue playing all the way to beat 8. So record 1 is actually going to play for 6 beats in total instead of our previous 2 beats, so that it leads us into our second beat juggle. Whilst record 1 is playing, we're also going to leave record 2 to carry on spinning forward so that we can cue it up to beat 7. Step 4, we then play record 2 for 2 beats whilst backspinning record 1 to beat 7. Step 5, this one's a little bit tricky. We're going to play record 1 for 2 beats whilst quickly backspinning record 2 all the way back to beat 1, which means you have to do 3 whole rotations of the record in quite a short space of time. Step 6 is also a little bit tricky. We're going to play record 2 for 4 beats whilst backspinning record 1 to beat 3, which is 2 complete rotations backwards. Step 7, we're then going to play record 1 for 2 beats whilst backspinning record 2 to beat 3. Step 8, we then play record 2 for 6 beats until it reaches beat 8 whilst queuing up record 1 to beat 7. Step 9, we then play record 1 for 2 beats whilst backspinning record 2 to beat 7. And finally, step 10, we play record 2 for 2 beats whilst quickly backspinning record 1 all the way back to beat 1, which will complete the sequence. So that was an example of a more complex beat juggling pattern built entirely from 4 different loops. Once you're able to execute a pattern seamlessly, it's tradition in beat juggling to intensify it by adding extra tricks and techniques while still keeping the original beat juggle pattern intact. This is a good way of developing your beat juggling skills and discovering new possibilities. To give you some ideas, here's a quick example of how we can take our last beat juggling pattern a few steps further. Hey guys, that's all I'm going to show you for today. There's countless numbers of ways of composing beat juggling patterns using loops, so this tutorial was really just to give you some inspiration so that you can go and compose a pattern of your own. So be creative, think outside the box and see what you can come up with. I want to give a quick shout out to Reloop and to everyone who subscribes and watches these tutorials. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back real soon to give you a brand new tutorial. Until then, peace and progress.